Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the transfer tips video for Game Week 31. We hope everyone's doing well. How you doing, Jordan? Hope you're all right.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. A very fast turnaround for Game Week 31, but yeah, here we are. Obviously, we're going to keep this short and sweet because we have our team selection followed by, obviously, this stream.
Yeah, so Game Week 31, very quick turnaround from Game Week 30, as you guys know. The deadline is tomorrow at 6 o'clock for Game Week 31. So we'll quickly put this video out to discuss the players that you should be looking to bring in ahead of that game week. And also, we've got a double stream straight after this one. We're going to do our team selection video as well. So first up, I've gone with, as a buy, which is Darwin Núñez. I think this one is going to be a popular move potentially this week. Again, we know Darwin Núñez I had a lot of transfers in, 100,000 plus of you have already bought him in. You take a look at his fixture as well in Game Week 31. He's got Sheffield United at home. Liverpool do play on Thursday. And Liverpool play Man United on the Sunday as well. So there's some suggestion that Darwin could get rotated out where he might not start at Sheffield. But even if he doesn't, even if he's coming off the bench against Sheffield, then he's going to start Man United, and then he's got a double in Game Week 34. I will still like to have him in my team personally. Some people might not agree because obviously he might be a minute's risk for that Sheffield fixture, which is a nice fixture on paper. But Darwin didn't get anything in the last game against Brighton. I thought he wasn't as involved as he is normally. I thought all the chances fell to Salah in that game. Salah had most of the shots. And I think Darwin should start against Sheffield. Again, it's a risk, but Darwin has been doing really well this season. 10 goals and 10 assists. So he's an improvement on recently. I think his form in 2024 has been really good. Again, his expected goal involvement per 90 at 0.95 is very, very good. It's actually one of the best out of all strikers in the league. I believe it is. I think he's above Haaland as well in terms of goal involvement. So Darwin's a threat whenever he plays, whether he's going to get a goal or an assist. I like the fixture in 31. Man United is not a bad fixture. Then Palace at home should be a good fixture for Liverpool, and then a double, which you'd want him for as well. So, yeah, definitely. If you don't have Darwin, I think he is a buy. If you've not got a free hit for 34, I think he could be a buy as well because of obviously the double as well. So, definitely look to bring Darwin in, and he's going to be a lock on my wild card as well, which we'll come on to later today. But yeah, let's move on to the next buy. Obviously, we've got Darwin as the first one.
And yeah, I've gone a little bit different with my buy this week. I thought there's not many defensive options to go for at all that has a decent fixture. So I've gone with Aït-Nouri as that differential pick. So his ownership is 2.7%. It's slowly climbing up. I don't expect it to go crazy high in terms of his ownership. But if you are looking for a defensive, obviously replacement for, let's say, maybe Doughty or another defender that is potentially out injured, then I think Aït-Nouri is the one that you could possibly look out for. Now, in his last game against Aston Villa away, there was a moment where Aït-Nouri could have potentially scored, but unfortunately, he literally left-footed it towards the goalkeeper. If he put that on his right foot, I reckon he would have scored that, and he would have had a nice return in Game Week 30. But I think for the next fixture in Game Week 31 and onwards, and if you look further down the line, he also has 2 fixtures in 34 against Arsenal. A bit tricky fixture, but then after that he has Bournemouth, which is a more comfortable fixture, I think, for him on that double game week. But it is a nice run of green fixtures, and Aït-Nouri may not have the best attacking threat for 1 goal and 2 assists to put to his name, but these green fixtures are hard to pass by in terms of Wolves' asset, and Aït-Nouri's court does have slight attacking threat. He does get forward up for the Wolves squad, so he's definitely one that I would consider for these nice fixtures that Wolves have coming up. Now, there might not be that many clean sheets as they only have 3 this season for Wolves, but I think this is purposely because of maybe he can get an assist or a goal in between these next 5. And he's quite cheap as well, 4.6 million. So it does save up a lot of money if you're getting rid of a player that's 5 million plus as well. And 40,000 of you have already transferred him in. So some of you have seen an eye in Aït-Nouri for this week, especially if you're on a wild card as well. But yeah, I think for me, he is my differential pick as a buy.
Mhm. Okay, so let's move on to players that we think you should be looking to offload ahead of Gaming 31. First one up, I've gone Ollie Watkins as a sell. He's already had a price drop last night, I believe, come down in price. Already over 368,000 managers have had transferred Ollie Watkins out. We know he had a hamstring issue. We don't actually know for sure if he's going to miss out Gaming 31, but I'd expect him to miss out 31, maybe be back for 32. Even if Watkins was fit, I was going to sell him anyway. So now that he's actually injured, makes it a bit easier for me. So yeah, I think he's a sell. Obviously, if he's injured against Man City, it's a tough fixture anyway. You probably want to get rid of him. The thing with Watkins, we know he's been excellent this season with 16 goals and 15 assists. The only problem with what Ollie Watkins is that he doesn't have any doubles coming up. And you've got the likes of Darwin, you've got the likes of Isak. People are looking at, even people like the cheap strikers as well that are available at the moment, like Muniz. There's Mateta who has a double in 34. A lot of people might look at Mateta coming in. So yeah, I think he's an easy sell, especially with the injury now. 32 is a nice fixture if he's back. 33 again, it's a tough game. He doesn't have a double in 34, so I think for me he's an easy sell. Regardless how good he's been this season, and maybe considering back later towards the end of the season, especially see how he does coming back from the injury if he does start against Brentford. But for now, I think if you're on a wild card, I'd rather have Solanke in there as well over Watkins. I think short-term better fixtures. Darwin's got the double and things like that. So yeah, Watkins for me is an easy sell, especially if we hear any news if he is definitely injured. But if not, I still don't like his fixtures. But yeah, Watkins first up, first sell. Second one, who have you gone for, Jordan, as a option that we should be looking to get rid of?
So I have chosen Doughty, the Luton defender, as my sell for this week. I think with the flag as well, even though it's just a knock, he did play around 80 plus minutes in that game before he did come off. But prior to that, he did come off and only played 45 minutes because of the hamstring. So again, it's sort of relapsed Doughty on his injury record, but not just that. His fixture against Arsenal away in 31 is going to be difficult. I think a lot of us are going to bench him anyway for that game. And sandwiched in between, he has Bournemouth at home, but then after that, he has Man City away again, another tough fixture for Doughty. So I think in the next three, you could possibly avoid having Doughty, potentially getting rid of him, as he might not even play against Arsenal away if you are in that situation where you have to play him. And I don't see a clean sheet the next three either for him. Attacking threat, the last assist he got was in game week 28 against Bournemouth, but besides that, there hasn't been really much coming from in terms of Luton, and in particular Doughty, especially with his run of injuries. But at 4.7 million is cheap, but his ownership is dropping very slowly. 54,000 who have transferred him out already. Me possibly being one of them as well, depending on what we hear. But because of the short turnaround as well, for the game week is literally tomorrow, then yeah, he becomes more of a sell because I doubt he'll be ready for that Arsenal game. But it's going to be a tough one. I don't see a clean sheet in it, and maybe not an assist. And that's if Doughty plays 90 minutes through that game as well. So that's even a questionable thing about him too. So yeah, I think he's an easy sell to go with for this week for Gameweek 31.
Okay. So yeah, that's the sells out the way. Let's bring up some players that we think you should be looking to maybe hold on to. And these are players that are being transferred out by managers at the moment. So first one up has gone as a hold is actually Saka. Now Saka's been transferred out by 50,000 managers. We know he came off. He was subbed off around the 80, 70 minute mark, I think. Or around the 80-minute mark, I should say, against Man City. He looked like he was a bit hobbling a bit. I don't know if he's injured. I don't think he is injured. I think he's probably just putting an act on. I don't believe Saka's actually injured. We see with Arteta always says like Saka's carrying a knock, but then he starts. And he's come out and said the same thing again after the Man City game. He's come out and said Saka, was carrying a bit of knock, but it's fatigue. He should be fine for Luton. Now, Luton, again, is a quick turnaround. So there is some chatter amongst, fans, the Arsenal fans, thinking that Saka could get rotated out and actually rested against Luton at home. Because obviously we know games are coming thick and fast. if Arsenal are going to give Saka a breather in any game in the next few matches, it probably is Luton at home, because that's one of the easier ones on paper. Now, I don't know, if Saka will get rotated out. I mean, I'll be still surprised if he does, but don't rule it out. Saka getting a benching, maybe coming on, because Arsenal do have a lot of fixtures coming, and Saka seems like he needs a rest and a bit of a breather, because he's been playing a lot of minutes. So this wouldn't be a surprise to me if Saka does get benched, but he will still be in my team on the wild card, I think. Just because I'd want him in Gameweek 34 essentially, and then even in 32 and 33, they're not easy fixtures, but I probably would want Saka still. So yeah, we know he blanked against Man City. He didn't have his greatest game, but Luton, if he does start, that could be a really good game. It could be a high scoring one. He's 9 million, so he's quite expensive. So I'm on a wild card this week, and I still think I'm going to include him in the wild card. If you don't want to go Saka on your wild card, if you are wild carding like me, I think Odegaard is the one I'd be going for instead of Saka, because we know Odegaard's more likely to start. He ain't going to get a rest, and I do like Odegaard as well as an option. But yeah, Saka for me, if you've got him, guys, definitely still a hold. I wouldn't be transferring him out, especially if you've not got a free hit in 34. We know he's going to double, and Arsenal are still in a title race with Liverpool and City. They need to play their main players, and Saka definitely is one of the better options they have. So they can't rest him too many times. They don't want to drop points in the title race. But yeah, Jordan, next up, who you've gone for as a hold?
So yeah, I've gone with Son as a hold. I'm quite surprised that 45,000 transfers out at least have been made on Son, and considering he scored a goal against Luton, could have had much more in that game than just one goal. I'm not really understanding why people are selling him, but his ownership has dropped. It's just over 35, and he has a good fixture against West Ham away, I think, especially with Newcastle and West Ham in the last game week being the high scoring one, and West Ham throwing that 3-1 lead away. It's definitely one that I would be holding Son on for, and for the next fixtures. I'd say up until that blank, obviously in 34, maybe you consider taking him out, because then he has Arsenal at home after the blank. But I think before that, he has 3 good fixtures you could potentially hold him on for, and obviously see what you can do. I mean, he scored 2 goals. He got 2 assists in the goal against Aston Villa away. I consider that a really tough game, but again, Son did prove it was not on good form. And before that as well, he scored against Crystal Palace at home. So his record home and away has been pretty good. I mean, he did blank against West Ham in 29, but I don't think that will be the same situation when he's playing West Ham again. So yeah, I think I'm considering bringing Son in. So definitely, if you do have him, you should definitely hold on to him at least until the blank in 34.
Yeah, sorry, that 29 fixture should be Fulham.
Yeah, it should be Fulham. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Son, I've got him. I plan to own him as well on the wild card. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Quite a few of you are transferring Son out. Let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to ignore ahead of game week 31. I've gone with Foden. Now, this might sound, people might not agree with this pick. The reason I've gone with Foden is purely down to budget reasons. If you can afford Foden on top of Son, Salah, Haaland, etc., then yeah, get him into your team. But I'm assuming you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. Do you want Son or do you want Foden? And if you had to pick between the two, for me, Son is a better pick. Even if Salah, Foden, I mean, I think for me it's a no-brainer. Salah over Foden as well. So in terms of the budget reason, it's very hard to fit Foden in when you want Salah and Son, assuming you've got Haaland as well. So for that reason, I think Foden is an ignore. If you've already got him, I wouldn't be selling him, because I still think if you've got him, Aston Villa at home, I still think it's a good fixture. I know Villa have been decent this season, but we know McGinn's still not back. And the Wolves actually had a decent, Wolves could have scored against Villa. Villa didn't look too great against Wolves, especially with Watkins going off. And if there's no Watkins, then I think Man City could comfortably, win that game. So we'll have to see. I think Foden's a good pick. And then after that, we know could get rotated out. But again, for at least 31, I think he should just, should start. But I wouldn't be transferring him out if I had him. But if we don't have him, I wouldn't be buying him either. We know he's doing well this season, 11 goals, 7 assists. He's pretty much first choice now, firmly. Plays most of the games. But the reason for my ignore is just he's hard to fit into the team. And I'd rather bring in the likes of Salah, Son, if you don't have them already. But yeah, Foden for me is an ignore this week. Let me know what you guys think as well in the chat. Guys, do you guys agree or disagree? Let us know. Also, guys, make sure you do smash a like button on the video as you're coming in. Really helps support the channel. So make sure you hit the like. Make sure you are subscribed as well to the so don't miss out any of the content. Who's the final ignore, Jordan, you've gone with?
So yeah, it was pretty hard to pick another ignore for this week, considering how fast turnaround it was and the current situation. But yeah, I've gone with Shah. I think even with nice fixtures that Newcastle have in between, it's hard to tell what you're going to get from Newcastle at the moment in terms of defense. Their defense is all over the place, and they had numerous injuries in that West Ham game. I think Lascelles is ruled out of the season for his ACL, and a couple of injuries in the midfield too. So yeah, I think I'll be completely ignoring Newcastle unless I see a turnaround in their form. But again, I think it's going to be tricky for them to manage that with the amount of players they have out of the team. So yeah, I think for me that's an easy ignore. They have Everton at home, but even the home fixtures that we're seeing are not quite the positive one we saw at the early start of the season, where they were keeping clean sheets, but away they were pretty terrible. It just seems to be home and away now, but both terrible for Newcastle. So that's my reasons for why I think you should ignore Shaw. I think there's other defenders you could possibly go for. But 25,000 transfers in, it's not that many of yours transferring him in, but that's still some that are considering Shaw for this week, because I don't see much of an attacking threat from him. You know, he's had 3 goals and 3 assists. I just don't see any clean sheets for Newcastle at the moment.
Okay, so those are the 8 players we've selected, guys. Let us know what you guys think of our picks. If you can quickly just recap, Jordan, the 8 for everyone that's tuning in.
Yeah, so for the buys that we decided to go for is Darwin and Aït-Nouri. The players we think you should sell are Watkins and Doughty. The players we think you should hold on to are Saka and Son. And finally, the players we think you should ignore are Foden and Shaw.
Lovely. So those are the 8 players that we've selected, guys. Let us know, do you agree with our picks? Do you disagree? Do put it in the comments. We try to reply to all your comments. Also, make sure you are hitting that like button as well on the stream, guys. It really helps support the channel. And also make sure you are subscribed as well, so you don't miss out on any content. We are going live in about 10 minutes again, straight after this one, another live stream to talk about our team selection. So make sure you do tune over to that video when we go live on that one. So a couple of comments coming in. We've got Kian says hello. Hello, Kian. And also a comment from Morris, best Areola replacement and best Ake replacement, wildcard 35. I mean, if you've got a bench already, I wouldn't do a goalie transfer. If you've got a playing goalkeeper right now, then I'll just keep it going. I'll just keep going with what you have. I just don't think it's worth making a goalkeeper transfer right now. In terms of Ake replacement, there's not a lot really.
No.
In terms of the defenders that you can choose from. I mean, Aït-Nouri is one that we've recommended. It depends on your chip strategy as well. If you've not got a free hit, then again, do you have a free hit, Morris? Let us know in the chat. Because if you have a free hit, then you could change your plans. Because Aït-Nouri does double in 34, but he does have some good single game week fixtures leading into game week 34 anyway. So Aït-Nouri is a good shout, I think. I think the Arsenal defenders, you still can't really go wrong with like a Gabriel Saliba if you don't have them. I'm trying to think. Gusto, if he wasn't injured, I think Gusto would have been a good pick, especially because he has doubles later down the line. You don't have free hit. So yeah, Aït-Nouri for sure then.
Yeah.
I think Aït-Nouri was the one you got to go for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one we recommend you buy for this week. So yeah, it's probably the best pick you can get.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think Aït-Nouri, or even a Spurs defender. I know Spurs don't have the greatest fixture this week in terms of clean sheet, but Spurs will have a double potentially. So Udogie, Pedro Porro, Van der Ven if you want to go cheap. But yeah, defender market right now isn't great. I mean, Bradley's still there if you want to bring Bradley in, but Bradley seems very short term because we know Trent's back soon. Trent should be back for the Atlanta game. So Trent should be back right after the Man United game. So I think Bradley does feel a bit short term in terms of the defenders. Should I get Isak or Nunes for Watkins? I like both. I think Nunes for me personally, especially because of the double in 34.
I think I would side to Isak, just because he's on penalties and Nunes isn't, and considering he scored from a penalty kick in that West Ham game, does give a bit more advantage over Nunes. As long as Wilson isn't back, obviously in that time. But yeah, I think I'll side towards Isak just over Nunes for what.
Yeah, I think in the short term for me, Nunes is a better pick because Nunes has a better fixture this week if he starts against Sheffield. Then he has a double in 34 when Isak has a single against Palace. But after that, Isak does become better because after 35, I think Isak's a better pick because Isak will have a double in 37. So again, it depends on chip strategies. If you can include both, I think it works. But for short term, for me, I prefer Nunes just because, again, I do like prioritizing the double game week players. Turner's my other goalie. Then, yeah, you're looking at, in terms of goalkeepers, there's Petrovic at Chelsea. There's Kelleher, who seems short term, especially with Alisson coming back. I'm trying to think what other goalies, especially with someone on low free hit.
Yeah, probably Kelleher is probably the best replacement because you have Sheffield United at home in terms of fixture.
But it's very short term because Alisson's back soon.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's very short term. But again, you should wildcard in and perhaps have your wildcard in 35, I think Kian said. So
yeah,
maybe you can get 1 or 2 games out of Kelleher for that.
Yeah, then there's potentially another transfer down the line. I think Raya could be decent. I mean, he's mentioned Raya. I think that could be okay because Raya's going to have a double in 34, which sorts out having a double in that game week. And then we know Raya's going to also play. He's not going to get rotated out. Ramsdale's not going to get a chance to come back into the team. So yeah, maybe Raya's not a bad shout. Onana could be a decent shout as a sub goalkeeper, just because Onana will double in 37. But again, I'm not keen on United assets right now, but Onana will have a double in 37. Hey guys, Van Dijk and Darwin for Watkins and Porro for a -4. Yeah, I like the Darwin one. For Watkins, we know he's going to be injured, and Van Dijk has a good fixture this week. Liverpool should keep a clean sheet. In terms of paper, Liverpool have the highest chance of a clean sheet this week out of any team. I think they have a 40% chance of a clean sheet. Obviously playing the worst team in the league, I think it's fair to say, with Sheffield. So I like Van Dijk this week. And then in 34, Van Dijk's going to play the double as well. So yeah, I think long term is a good move. And Kian reckon I should captain Salah against Man United for 32. I mean, that's still a while away. So we'll probably have a video out in regards to captaincy for 32 closer to the time. But yeah, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, Salah does actually have a really good record against Man United in recent years. So I think that's his favourite opponent as well. I think he scored most of his goals are against United. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap this stream up, guys. We are back again for another stream in literally 5 minutes. So all your questions and things you have, guys, in regards to your teams, tune over in 5 minutes. We've got another stream going live for the team selection video. But I just want to say, if you have been enjoying this content so far, do smash the like button, guys. It really helps support the channel. And also make sure you are subscribed. We're on the road to 1.2k subs next. But yeah, that's it from us. We're back again, as I said, in 5 minutes. Join us over there for the team selection. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
That's pretty much it. We'll have a short break, a 5-minute break, and be back for the team selection. So stay tuned, guys.